Hey guys, quick question. How much do you suck at creating slides and presentations? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you a disaster? Your slides make no sense, just people get bored when they watch them? Or are you at the other end of the spectrum, like the Apple level, where your presentation is so good, people will wake up at 2 in the morning to watch it live on YouTube? Where do you stand? Well, the good news is that in this video, I'm going to show you 5 tips to create better presentation with Canva. Let's go. What is up, everybody? My name is Ronnie. Welcome to our channel, the best place to learn how to use and master Canva. So today we are talking about presentations. I'm going to show you 5 tips to make them way better. And we are starting right now. So let's jump into Canva. All right, so right here, I am on the home page and I'm going to use one of the recent presentations I have recently designed for Canva. It was for a project that I am working on at Canva to create this series of webinars for nonprofits. I want to help nonprofits with different problems they are running into, and one of them is creating better presentations. So I have created this presentation right here. I'm going to show you very briefly, giving you a quick overview of the entire presentation here, just to show you the slides. I think I have 69 slides. It took me about a day to create these slides and this presentation. We have, yes, a total of 69 slides. So I'm gonna close this view right here, come back to my thumbnail view and start with the tips. Are you ready? All right, tip number 1 is to start with a template. Canva has a multitude of templates. So for that, we are going to go back to the home screen, right? So when you start a presentation, first, make sure you understand which aspect ratio you want to use, right? So basically you have 3 choices. You have the traditional 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the best ratio for presentation. So if you type in Canva presentation, you will have 3 options. The classic one, it's just called presentation, 1920 by 1080. That is the full HD resolution, because today most of the presentation halls or the presentation techniques will happen on a flat screen TV or a modern projector that will have this type of resolution. Or you might simply create your presentation for a webinar or for YouTube, and therefore you should use the 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the one I just mentioned. So that's the presentation. Then we have another one, which is presentation 4:3, and that's 1024 by 768. So this typically, the only way I would recommend this one format and this one aspect ratio is if you are going to use an iPad or a tablet which has this 4:3 aspect ratio to present your idea, your slides to another person. So if that's you, go ahead and do that. And then Canva has another one which is very cool in my opinion. It's called the mobile first presentations. So mobile first presentation is, as the name indicates, designed for you if you want to present your slides directly from a mobile phone or share that, and it is intended that your viewer, your audience will consume that presentation on a mobile. So if that's for you, go ahead and use that. But what I wanted to show you is that each of these aspect ratios, and let's click on the presentation one, will have a multitude of templates to start with. So that's my tip number 1, start with a template. First, know which aspect ratio you are going to use, and that depends on where are you going to display this presentation, use that presentation, and then start with a template. So very easily you can browse a template. If you click on one, you will directly open it into the Canva editor, and now you have all the slides here available to you and already set up in a presentation. So all the slides will be there. Of course, don't use them straight away like this. Make the extra effort to customize them. All right, that was my tip number 1. Tip number 2 is set up your brand kit. So setting up your brand kit will really help you design your presentation faster. So what is the brand kit? Well, the brand kit can be accessed via the Canva homepage. Right here, it says brand kit here on your left column, left panel. So if I click on the brand kit, basically you will find here all your color palettes. And again, if you are using Canva, the free version of Canva, you will have a free version of the brand kit, which is a simplified version of the brand kit, meaning you won't have several color palettes. You can only have one color palette if you're using the free version of Canva in terms of brand kit. And in your color palette, you will have only 3 colors available. So here I'm using Canva Pro. As you can see, I have different color palettes and some of them have more than 3 colors. So basically the theme around the accent color could be typically the type of brand kit you will have if you're using Canva free. The other difference between the free and the pro version in terms of brand kit is that you won't be able to upload your own fonts. But other than that, the brand kit will let you upload all of your logos. It will help you choose and create your color palette, up to 3 colors if you're using it for free, unlimited number if you use pro, and also to select your fonts. So 3 types of fonts: your headings, subheadings, and body text. So these 3 text hierarchy, I would say, could be modified and set directly here. So what I recommend is that you create a little brand style guide for your presentation. You know your color palette, choose between 3 and 5 colors that you will stick with. Your fonts, so choose 2 or 3 fonts that you will be using consistently in your presentation and set them up in your brand kit right here. We're using these 3 brand fonts right here, the 3 categories: heading, subheadings, and body. And also upload your logos, by all means, like the visuals you're going to use repeatedly. All right, so in order to show you, I had to switch accounts to use the one I used to create this presentation for Canva. I use different Canva accounts. I just wanted to show you behind the scene of this brand kit, inside the brand kit I used to create my presentation. So I created the color palette. I have 5 colors here, so that means I'm using Canva Pro, of course. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I uploaded my different logos that I will need for this presentation, and also my font hierarchy and setting up my fonts. So I have my main headings, which is Agrandir Type Black in 90. I have my beauty salon script, font here as my subheading. And then my body is going to be Agrandir 40. Now, if we take a look at how the brand kit actually works from within the editor, well, it's very simple. When you are designing a presentation, for example, let's say you need some different colors for this background, then you will have your brand kit right there and your colors that you set. Same for text, for example. Let's say you want to add a text box. If you press the T key on your keyboard, if you simply go to your text button right here on the left panel, you will have your 3 text hierarchy already set. So your headings, subheadings, and body text, exactly what we've set in the brand kit. So that's why you should use a brand kit, because it will allow you to remain consistent and it will allow you to design faster, find your colors faster, set up the right fonts for your title, subtitle, etc. faster. It just speeds up the workflow and it will help you achieve that consistency. That's my tip number 2. Use and set up the brand kit. For those of you who want to try Canva Pro because you want the extended brand kit, we will leave an affiliate link right here in the box above this video so that you can try Canva Pro for 45 days, which is 15 days extra than what you would get if you just simply go to canva.com/pro. So that's if you use our affiliate link for this channel. All right, so now that being said, let's move on to tip number 3, which is create consistency. So why would you want to create consistency in your presentation? Well, it is super important that you achieve this consistency because you want people to feel like this is an experience. You're giving them an experience from slide 1 to slide 69 in this presentation, for example, which is you tell them a story. You bring them along on a journey to share a bunch of ideas with your slides, and you want them to feel like this is cohesive, this is like well thought, there is a clear journey here. I recognize this is section 1 of the presentation, this is section 2. It makes sense to me, because this consistency will increase your overall clarity of the presentation. And this is really what you want when you present something to someone. You want to convey a message, so that clarity is key. So how do you achieve this consistency in your presentation? Well, one of the things you can do is to really stick to your visual guidelines. So your visual identity, the things that you have put in your brand kit, your color palette, your fonts, the different font size and font types that you are using for your text, but also your imagery style. For example, here on this slide, for example, we see the color palette, right? We have this color palette and we have the layout that we are using. So for example, a typical slide will have the text above, and then we'll have our visuals on this side, etc., etc. So you can use these elements to create more consistency, like your color palette, the text hierarchy, the structure or the layout of your slides, like how they are built, but also the types of visuals that you use, that is your imagery. So for example, here we have this photo of me, and I want it to be consistent throughout the presentation. So I applied a certain type of effects on my visuals, on my images, on my photos that I use in the presentation. I use the photos, I cut them out with the background remover using Canva Pro, and I also applied a duotone effect, the pop effect to be very precise. And I do this with all the visual. You see all the photos that are in this presentation, they use the same imagery style, the same filters. So by creating this, you are actually adding to the consistency of your presentation. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and create this cohesive, smooth ensemble, I would say, smooth, consistent bunch of slides that will help you convey your message in a more clear manner. All right, now moving on to tip number 4, which is make it move. Make your slide move by any means possible. So Canva is a solid gold mine in this respect, because you can really use different techniques and different elements to make your designs move, to make your presentation just moving, like adding some movement to them. So let's go through this presentation I made here and see different techniques I used to create this movement. So for example, I have here data visualization. So you might have different types of slides with graphics, charts, like pies or whatever, bars, different types of charts. You can use Canva to create the charts. So for this, simply go to your left panel right here and search for charts. If you don't see it, click on the More button and you will see this button right here that says Chart. So one way I could add movement to this one slide, for example, which has data visualization, is to use the animate function. So how to do that? Well, first, if you click on specific elements, the animate option won't show. In order to see the animate button, you need to click on the background first. So click on the background of your slide and then push the animate button. So here you will have different animations. And again, depending on if you're a pro or a free user, you will have more or less animation. You see all of these with the little crown. Well, these means that they are for pro users only. So if you're a Canva free user, you will be limited to 1, 2, 3, 7 animation styles right here, but it's already a lot of animation and they're pretty cool. So you can pre-see what they are, like for example, the pan animation, the rise, which is pretty cool. There's the breathe, which is not bad either. Block, just for your text. So block is a text animation. You have the none button. And in the pro animation, you have some more fancy things like the neon, or you have your pop, which is pretty cool. I like the pop, really nice. So let me show you how it looks when you present it now. So if you go previous slide and then go back to this slide, see you have added this movement to your animation, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's come back to my presentation here. This is nice. I like that. That's one way to add movement to your presentation. Let me show you another one. Another one is to use video in your presentation. I have this slide right here because I'm talking about a quote which is, your slides should deliver big punches with strong visuals. So I've used this video here in the background of Chuck Norris giving you a good old fist in the face. So how do I do that? Well, basically, if I decompose this slide, there are a couple of things. First is a gradient. So this is a gradient that I created. I put the gradient, I believe, in a grid. So basically, let me show you how this was done. You go to your elements and I found the grids. So the grids right here. I used this grid and then I added a gradient in my grid and I gave the gradient some transparency. Transparency here is 65%. So use this gradient, and then here I have Chuck Norris here, which is a GIF. So I found this GIF. Let me show you where I found the GIF. I use the three little dots right here that say more, and I use Giphy. All right, so in Giphy, I search for punch, I believe. Punch, and then I found, yes, this punch right here of Chuck Norris. If you add it to your design, this is what it looks like. I didn't like the grid overlay right here, so I just extended it and I just resized it so that it fit my slide perfectly. So that's another way you can add movement to your slides, to your presentation, is by using these media, these rich media that Canva is giving you. So you have the GIFs, you have, of course, your video tab right here. So let me go to the video tab. So if I was to create another slide with movement, I could add a video as a background. So for example, this slide right here would make something different. And again, also always remember to personalize, to customize even the videos, the GIF that you use into Canva with the imagery style. Here, I want to remain consistent with my pop imagery colors. So that's why I put the overlay on top of my GIF. All right, so I showed you three ways you can add movement. You can use the animate button, you can use rich media, or like embedding a GIF, for example, or you can add a video. But one last thing I want to show you is that you can use the stickers. So stickers, very popular in Canva. This adds a little bit of a touch to your slides and it's very subtle. For example, this slide right here, I show them like 4 mistakes that people do when they create presentation. Too much information, not enough visuals, crap quality, and it's visual vomit. It's like all over the place. It's not nice. So this is nice. This slide is good, but then I added, you see like 4 in the middle here in a circle. But then I have this. Let me show you. I'm gonna fade it out and bring it back in. So this is actually a sticker. So how did I find that? I went to my elements and I searched for circle sticker. All right, and Canva is going to show you, and this is the one I used right here, because it's moving, it's attracting my eye. So for me, it was a nice way to add this slight touch of movement in my slide. So you can really add your stickers in order to draw the attention of your viewer to a specific part of your slide. So I did this here for this title, for example. Let me find other ways, other slides where I've done the same thing. Let me see, yes, here, for example. I wanted to show specific slides in my presentation, so I use this little arrow to attract the eye here. When I talk about this other thing, I use the little hands that do like this. So this is very super useful. I recommend you use that as well. All right, so that's plenty of techniques to add movement to your presentation. Now let's move on to my 5th and last tip for today for creating better presentation, and that is make them interactive. So making your presentation interactive means basically providing ways for your audience to interact, to participate in your presentation. So how do you do that? Well, one way I like to do that is this, for example, this slide. Let me present it so you can see what it is. it's a slides with a QR code that says all the slides. So what is this? Well, I like when I present to a room or where I present, even in a webinar, you know, people are always taking notes and they want to, maybe they screenshot your presentation, some of the slides. So I like to let them know, look, at the end of this presentation, I'm gonna give you a way to download the presentation to access all the slides. So don't worry too much about taking notes. I prefer you focus on listening to what I have to say here. In order to create this QR code and to achieve this effect, let me show you how to do that. First, you will have to search for the three little dots, click on that and go to QR code, okay? So QR code is an app that works with Canva that allows you to create a QR code, very simple. For this, you will need a URL, so a destination of your code. So where do you want people to land once they scan the code? So if you want them to actually see your slides, what you will have to do is to use the share button right here. I want to use the share button and I want to share a link to view. I want them to view my presentation. So copy this link. I'm going to paste the link right here. Generate a QR code, please. Thank you. So now I have my QR code. I'll make this the right size, so to fit in there. Okay, I'm gonna delete the old one and just use this one. All right, so now it's here. I want to show you what it actually does when you scan this QR code. So I'm gonna present the slide and I'm gonna grab my phone right here and simply scan this QR code with my camera. Coming here, it says open on Safari. And there you go. I have my presentation here on my phone. And it works with all the visual, the animation, the movement, everything is here as you can see. So that's pretty cool. So that's what I wanted to show you. You can make your presentation interactive with the QR code. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing this that I've used later in this presentation using another QR code is this one. It says, enjoy this content, scan and leave Ronnie a review on Facebook. So when people scan this QR code, and again, I can show you how it works. When people will scan this QR code with their phone, it will drive them directly to my Facebook page where they can leave me a review. And it's not just the Facebook page, it's the review section of my Facebook page. So go ahead and create these nice QR codes that you insert in your presentation. It will make them more interactive, more fun for people to participate, to do some actions, to keep them awake as well during your presentation. And then a last thing I want to show you that I did to make the presentation more interactive here is on this slide. So I was talking about this person, Jessie Desjardins, who created this very cool presentation called You Suck at PowerPoint. If you don't know Jessie, I highly recommend you Google You Suck at PowerPoint and you find this slide deck. It's on SlideShare. It's amazing. I learned so much about creating better presentation from Jessie. So one thing I did here, I found the presentation here on Google. It's the link to his SlideShare presentation, and I had this link and I wanted to insert that in my own presentation. So if I present this slide, let me show you. I'll present this one slide right here, and you see you have a window with the presentation and an arrow, and I can actually scan Jessie's presentation directly from my presentation, which is pretty awesome because I have embedded this presentation into my presentation. Now, how can you do that? Well, you just need the link to that presentation, right? So for example, I went ahead and found it on Google. So it's called You Suck at PowerPoint. Yep. So you will find it, You Suck at PowerPoint SlideShare, that's the one. So you copy this link like this, you come back to Canva, and then this time you will find in the More section, you go for Embeds. So you click on Embed, and then you paste the link here, and you add to your design. And you see, it created this window right here, and I simply resized it, and that means that now you have embedded rich media into your presentation. And you can do that with a multitude of different things. So here I use SlideShare. It's not even on the icons that are played here by Canva, but you can embed YouTube videos, Vimeo, Spotify playlist, TEDx talks, SoundCloud music, anything really. Like it's super rich, and I really highly recommend you use rich media in your presentations in order to make them more interactive. All right, we are at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this far. Now, if you like this video, please give it a like. YouTube really likes that. And also we have put some other videos here that you can check out that I believe you will like as well. There's a link to subscribe to the channel as well. So please, if you're not subscribed yet, do so now. And that's it for today. I will see you in the next video.